we have to ask ourselves, what's the best day of our lives? What do we think of the cross? How is it personal? Do you see it not only as something done for you, but for something that you are to bring to the world? And not just in information, but in demonstration. Do you understand that the cross is not just an issue of information, but it's of demonstration, and not just for you, but it is to come from you to a world that desperately needs? Are you willing to embrace the call of sacrifice, saint? Do you understand that sacrifice and surrender is a part of salvation and sanctification? You cannot remain selfish in the sanctification process. That is one of the things that God himself will try to chip and burn and refine out of you. I want to show you an example of one of the most beautiful portraits of this I've seen. It's from back in the Dark Ages, literally from the time of the Reformation, when the birth of the church was rekindled. There's a gentleman named Albrecht Dürer. Some of you may recognize his name if you're familiar with the arts. You see, he lived during the German Renaissance time, literally right around 1500. And he had a friend. He lived in Nuremberg, Germany. And he and a friend were two struggling artists. And both wanted desperately to make it big. And so they made a pact. They literally made a pact together, these two brothers, friends that lived like brothers. They said, you know what? Let's draw straws. Short straw stays at home and funds the ministry or art work of the other. They both so loved each other, they said, okay. Well, Albrecht got the large, long straw. His friend said, okay, you go. And the idea is that when you make it big, then you come back and you help finance my art. And we get off the ground and here we go. When Albrecht came back and he had made it, yes, come on now, you too can come. He found that his friend, in working so hard, had crippled his hands. He could no longer even hold a paintbrush. He so gave of his life to support the promise and the potential of his friend that he lost his potential to participate. Some of you may recognize this story in a different way. I want to show you the picture of praying hands. Are you familiar with that? Those are the praying hands of Albrecht's friend. When he came back and found that his friend had worked himself to the point where he could no longer be an artist, he was so inspired that he made what was one of his most famous renderings, a portrait of praying hands. Those are the sacrificial hands that were broken to empower the potential of a friend. Now, there's no Jesus in that directly. But I pray that you and I will see that the call that Christ extends to you and me from the cross, it's to us, but it's not about us. He saves us that we would serve and bring glory to him by surrendering and sacrificing so that others would know the gift of this grace that we've been so quick to take in and so slow to share.